So what is the perfect ride? I have done several rides where I was able to accomplish great feats like not dabbing on a technical climb or riding through a challenging rock drop feature. I had a great feeling of accomplishment, but was it the perfect ride?
A little
No.
scary there.
So what is the perfect ride? To tell you the truth, I didn't really know until after this ride. I have concluded it's a combination of things, and not all of them need to be perfect. First on my list, it needs to be a destination. Riding something local can be a great and even a remarkable location to ride, but there needs to be an adventure just to get to the trail. Our destination this year was Moab. I crossed the desert, climbed the mountains, and traversed the Monument Valley. Emily experienced Airstream mechanicals on her way out of the mountains and had an overnight stay in Ouray when leaving Silverton. Not everything was perfect, but it had become a memorable drive. There's just something special about knowing you're meeting a friend at a shared destination.
Oh, there's Fern. All the way from Arizona. My advice would be to leave several bike lengths.
Yep.
This part is quite a bit more technical than the rest of Dino-Flow.
Okay.
The forecast for the week in Moab was perfect. Mid-70s,
So are we
great
on
October
officially
riding in the high
Dino-Flow
desert.
here, or is this...
However, once I arrived, the forecast started to change.
Okay, the pink dash is
A stormy weather pattern
Dino-Flow,
emerged,
okay.
and it pretty much rained the first day of the trip. However, on the second day, the clouds departed and the
Dino-Flow or
temperature was a
Dino-Flow?
crisp 56 degrees. We headed outside of town to Klondike Bluffs, and with the recent rains, the dry and dusty trail compacted down to a rideable, wet, sandy material, the Moab equivalent of hero dirt conditions. The weather and terrain conditions definitely fit the parameters for a perfect ride. Our first trail, Dino-Flow, is a nice mix of clean rocks and red, wet sand. It is a blue trail and has a unique flow going up and over rocky features with a few short drops. It's a slight downhill from North Parking Lot and a great way to warm up for the day. Although many may disagree, you need to have a good climb as a part of the perfect ride. I've been to bike parks and taken shuttles, but doing the climbing yourself is rewarding. Like you really earn that downhill. The first of our 2 climbs was the blue-black rated Little Salty. Emily's quite prepared for the climb, spending the summer in the high elevation of the Colorado Rockies. I had been practicing doing short, punchy climbs on my local trails, as well as adding distance to build up my endurance. Our mutual efforts paid off. We were both likely in the best shape of our lives, and the climb up the mountain went smoothly, all the way to the top of North Baby Steps. How long have you had those boots for?
I think this is the third year.
Third year, yeah. They're definitely still looking pretty good.
I think it's the second. I think it's the second year, but they are, everything about them has been fantastic. The only part that failed was there was like this little tongue thing. The tongues are too short, and so the way they tried to deal with it is they put this thing on that would pull them up, but that ripped off in the first season. But it's doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They've been wonderful. I mean, they're warm, and they have an awesome tread, and the cleats are a little bit recessed, so when you're walking on normal concrete, you're not making that kind of
click-clack sound. Yeah. Now we get to enjoy the downhill. North Baby Steps is mostly slick rock and contains many footprints left by dinosaurs in the floodplain and mud deposits of the Cretaceous period. Baby Steps, also a blue-black, has a few drops and technical sections. We took it easy and just enjoyed the views as we headed down the bluff. Working this stuff. He's got his seat down. And he didn't run me under. That's good too. Normally we would be headed back to the truck after this downhill, but we decided to add some distance to our ride and make it an epic adventure. Distance is also important for the perfect ride. You want to find a good balance of distance with climbing so you feel worn without being tired and making stupid mistakes. Emily and I experienced this on the whole enchilada ride a few years back. By the time we got to the Porcupine Rim, we were hot, tired, and making poor decisions on trail lines, just so we can get to the end. This is our first time on EKG, and definitely my heart rate is up right now on this climb.
Mine too. This is 12%.
Emily says we're at 12% right now. Today we are cutting over on EKG, a black trail we had never ridden. It's not an easy trail with punchy climbs and many technical uppers. It is a challenge, and I was not able to clear every one. The perfect ride needs to have some sense of discovery, and it should be a challenge that makes you want to come back again and do better. The second big climb, Mega Steps, a blue-black, was definitely a challenge. We made it to the top with only one break along the way. Megasteps has some good-sized dinosaur prints, and it was nice to check them out on our way back to the top. Alright, here are some of the steps here. So you assume these are old. Easier to see with water in them, but these imprints are most likely millions of years old here. You can tell with the recent rain, these old dinosaur steps have become like little water retention basins for all the critters that live out here. Finished our climb on Megasteps, and now we're on Alaska, heading more climbing here to do, but we'll see how this goes. Pedal strike. Yeah. Full squish mode. Little what? Little Tetris. Yeah. Most of the morning we didn't run into any other riders. However, on EKG Megasteps in Alaska, we met some really nice people from all over the United States. The perfect ride should not be a crowded trail system, but one where you can stop and say hello to a few that you do meet. Maybe even meet a trail dog or two. We connected to Alaska, another blue-black trail, which offers great views and some exciting trail features. You will not find any man-made structures, just natural rock and boulders. Granted, I'm sure some of the rocks were moved to make the features manageable. Alright, here's a nice view of the Megasteps that we climbed up from the top here of Alaska.
remember this spot.
Once we reached the top of Alaska, the reward was a downhill all the way back to the parking lot. The perfect ride should always end on a good note, since it would be a bummer to do another climb to get back to the truck. One thing I realized on this downhill was having the right tool makes a huge difference in the fun factor, and it definitely helps define the perfect ride. When you have the ability to clear the drops with ease, your confidence gets stronger. It sure beats getting off the bike to get through a feature.
Yeah.
The combination of all these factors makes the perfect ride. However, there is still one element left: friends. Doing a ride like this alone can still be a great experience, but when you ride with a buddy, it becomes a memorable event that can be looked upon fondly for years. When Emily and I ride together, we both get to experience the weather in great trail conditions. We challenge each other on the climbs, we discover new trails, meet people with dogs, and get excited about tackling a new feature. This is what makes the perfect ride.
Absolutely beautiful, wonderful, fantastic ride. This is worth the 8-hour drive, right?
Oh my God.
GoPro, stop recording.